In this video, I'm going to illustrate the dripping effect. This is similar to the water dispersion effect in a way. If you missed that video, I'll attach it to the end of this video. I'm also going to show you how to use compound masks and why they are important. Right here, I'm going to start with a new document. Now I'm going to bring my images in, one being a witch, right here. And another being this ink drip thing. Okay, so I'm going to resize my witch and make it a little bit bigger. Actually a lot bigger, but okay. And then I'm going to take my ink drip and resize my ink drip so that it kind of fits around her waist, right under her elbows. So I'm going to keep it like that. Then I need for this to be white. So I'm going to go up with, make sure you have that selected. I'm going to go up to Pixel and then Invert, and then my drip is going to be white. Since that's really hard to see, I'm going to have a background, and I'm going to use a rectangle to make that background, and select a gray color for that. Make sure that it's completely covering everything, and then I'm going to move my background to the bottom. So now I have just an amalgam of things. I've got my witch, and I've got my drip, and now my drip is white. Okay, now I'm going to select the drip layer, and then right-click on it, and then choose Rasterize to Mask, like that. And you'll see that everything is gone except for my drip here. So in order to bring that back, I need to put my drip layer inside the witch, like that. And then I can turn off my drip layer so I can see and make sure that my witch layer is there. So I've turned off my drip layer. You can't see it anymore. Turn it back on, and now you can't see the witch anymore. Well, in order to see it, we're going to have to paint it back in. So I'm going to go over here and select the paintbrush tool and go over to brushes and select one of these rounded brushes. It really doesn't matter too much. I'm going to stick with the number 32. That's the one I was using before. And then make sure that my circles over here are black and white. That's what they're supposed to be. And so now with my paintbrush tool selected, and make sure the appropriate layer is selected, I am going to make sure the layer is selected, because that's what we're painting on. We're painting on the mask. So all I need to do is just to color our witch back in, like that. So I've got her all colored in. Make sure I get her arms. Make sure we get all this stuff. And make sure that she's all colored back in. So that's all we would have to do to get the dripping effect that I want. Now, this is the same method that I used when I did the video on the text warp tool, when I cut out the text banana from a banana, and then I painted it back in. If you don't remember that or you didn't see it, I'll attach that video at the end so that you can take a look at it and see how it's similar to this. I mean, it's exactly the same thing. Now, this is fine, but there's a downside to doing it like this. And the downside is that what we've done with this one mask is we have pretty much torched our drip mask, and we also can't move each of these things separately. And what I mean by that is if you don't like this drip effect and you want to move it around, you should be able to just select the drip and then move it, but it doesn't do that. See, it doesn't move independently because of the way that I've decided to do this drip effect. You can move it up like that, but if you try to move it any other way, it won't do that. And also, this is a very destructive way of doing this. So it just turns out to be kind of a mess. I mean, this is okay, but there is really a better way of doing things. And that is use what we call a compound mask. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do. We're going to do the same thing with this witch. Instead, we're going to use a compound mask. So I'll go up here and go File and New. And I'll have a new document like that. So I'll create a document, and then I will bring in, again, my witch. So there's the witch. Move her around so we can get her in there. And then File and Place my drip. And we'll put the drip in there. And let's see if we can match this up a little bit. And with the drip selected, just go Pixel and invert, and that way it will be white. And so since I don't want my white background, the white background, it doesn't really show up in everything. So I'm going to do what I did the last time and then put in a background, and I'm going to color it gray because gray is the color I'm going to be using for the actual background. Now I can see that this isn't, we need to move this out a little bit so it covers everything up. Then we can move our background all the way down to the bottom, and now we have this. So now we have our witch and we have our background, and so now what we need to do is to right-click on it, right-click on the drip, make sure that the drip is selected. We're going to right-click it, and then we're going to rasterize to mask. And now it looks the same as what we did the last time, which was just this background and just this mask. So I'm going to turn off my drip so that we can see our woman. Now what I want to do is, instead of doing what I did before, I need to select my woman, and I'm going to add a mask. So I'm going to click on Add Mask Layer, and so I'm going to get me a mask right there. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to right-click on the mask and invert it. So now everything is gone. Everything is covered up by the masks. Now we can go and select this mask. Okay, so I need to drag this mask and make sure that it's under the witch. Okay, now we need to go down here, and this is where the compound masks come in. What's going to happen is this mask and this mask are going to be in a group together in a compound mask. So the way you do that is you're going to right-click on the mask layer icon, and it's going to say down here compound mask. So you're going to click on that. So you're going to click on that, and you're going to drag this compound mask to where it sits underneath the witch. So the witch is going to be there, and the ink mask is going to be inside the compound mask, and this mask is going to be in here. So now we have everything inside of our compound masks. Now what I want to do is I want to select, I want to turn my ink drip back on because I turned it off so I could see the witch. Now I'm going to turn it back on, and there it is. So I'm going to select the witch mask, which is right here, and it's still black, so it's covering her up. So all we need to do is to select the paintbrush tool and press D. And when we press D, those will disappear. I know this is already fine, but I'm going to look anyway, be a little OCD here. So make sure my brush is selected, and then make sure that my witch mask is selected, and then I'm going to pick the white and I'm going to paint her back in. So here she goes. So we're going to paint her back in. And we're painting on the mask, we're not painting on her. So the image is still the same. It's not being destroyed or anything, but we're just going to paint her back in until we get everything that we need to have back in. So if we paint too much down here, like that down here, which I did, I'm just going to paint up like that. Okay, so that's the way that looks. So I can just paint on that particular mask. Now, let me close this up. And let me close this up. And this is what we have. We have the witch, we have the rectangle. If we open up the witch, we have the compound mask. And inside the compound mask, we have this mask of her and this ink drip mask, which looks the same as it did before. So we didn't have to do anything. But what if I don't like the way this is? All I need to do is to click on the ink drip mask, and if I want to move it up and down, I can do that. I can make it a little bit drippier, and then all I will have to do is just touch it up. See, there's that thing that's sticking out down there. So I'm going to have to just touch it up. So I can just move that over and then do that, and then maybe do that, and then click the drip and put the drip back in and put it down as far or as far up as we want until we get the kind of drip that we want. Now, the nice thing about the compound mask is that if you want to add, well, in addition to be able to move that around and not hurting your ink drip part of the project there, if you want to add effects to this, every effect that you add is going to affect everything, and we don't have to add it to each individual thing. We've got compound mass there. And if we want to do something on just the drip, then we have the ink drip mask there. If we want to do it right here, and if we want to do it with the woman, then here's our witch/woman mask right there. Okay, but we are going to add effects to this, and this is what we're going to do. The first thing I want to do is I want to adjust the background. So I have to select the rectangle, and I'm going to go up here and click on the fill tool, and then go down here to radial. So now I have a radial effect here, and I want the center to be a little lighter. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to go to HSL sliders. There we are. And I'm going to make it a little bit lighter, like that. So I've got my gradient the way I want it. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to give this some filter. So I'm going to select the rectangle, make sure the rectangle is selected, and then I'm going to go down to filters, and then I'm going to add some noise. So I'm going to add noise, and then I'm going to turn up the intensity on the noise to about, I don't know, 70 or 80%. So I've got it at 72, and I think that's going to be good enough for me. So I'll put the noise, well, let me put it, I have in my notes I did it at 80%. I have no idea why. Okay, well, it's 79 now, that's good enough. And then I'm going to go down here and do a blend mode, and this is where you can get it really cool. You have all sorts of blend modes here. Look at that. Some of these look really creepy. So I have darker color, lighten, that doesn't look creepy. Screen, color dodge, add, lighter color, overlay, soft light, hard light, vivid light. I kind of like the vivid light one. So I'm going to go, I don't think I did this one the last time. Let me see if I can find the one I did the last time. I should have written it down. Okay, there's linear, pin light. I think I did hard light before, but I'm not sure I'm liking that. You know, maybe I do like that. Hard mix. Let's go back up to vivid light. Okay, I'll stick with vivid light. That hard mix really gives it some scariness. But I'll do vivid light and just stick with that. Okay, now there are the noise effects, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to now go to FX, and I am going to, let me see, FX, and I'm getting ready to change my mind right in the middle of this video. Well, I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to give me an outer shadow. Then I'm going to give it a radius of about 20. And of course, before you can see it, you have to give it an offset or you're not going to be able to see it. And so there's my outer shadow of about 50. And I don't want my outer shadow to be that color, so I am going to change it to where it's a little gray, like that. So that's going to be my outer shadow. And the blending mode is going to be screen. Okay, now I need an outer glow. So I'm going to select outer glow. And the radius on this is going to be about 25, 26 or so, like that. And the intensity, I'll just leave it there. It's fine. But I'm not going to leave it at white. I'm going to change it to yellow. Okay, so now we have our yellow outer glow. So that gives it a little bit of a pop, and our blending mode is screen. Okay, so once I've finished all that, I'm going to close it and click out of it and see what it looks like. And there we have our melting Wicked Witch of the West, illustrating the compound mask. I haven't had too many chances to use the compound mask, as my videos haven't been all that complicated. Give this a try yourself, though, and remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay up to date on future videos.